If you told me 2 summers ago I'd be the single most cursed name in a neighborhood where front lawns are greener than people's morals, I'd have laughed and said you were watching too many late-night soap operas. But here we are. My name's Mason Walker, born in Texas, made my money in software out in Seattle, then dragged right back here by a phone call that knocked the wind out of me. Dad's old pickup found stalled on a back road. Heart gave out before he could even pull over. I buried him under the same oak he planted back when he bought this patch of dry Texas ground. 12 acres, old creek running through it, a rusty windmill that never did spin right. After the funeral, I sat on that porch with my mom, both of us staring at the fence line where our land touched up against a fancy new neighborhood called Hawthorne Glade. Dad used to spit whenever their name came up. They build marble kitchens, then whine about cow smell drifting over the fence. Son, city folks got soft stomachs. He wasn't wrong. I told Mom I'd stay a while, settle Dad's papers, fix a few things, then maybe go back to my neat condo and the noise of Seattle. But I should have known once this dirt got under my fingernails again, leaving wouldn't be that simple. 2 weeks in, a letter showed up. Heavy envelope, gold crest, real pompous. Mr. Walker, please join us for a Hawthorne Glade community social at the pavilion. Mom thought it was sweet. I thought it stank of trouble. But she said, your father fought with them too much. Maybe you can start fresh. So I shaved, put on my only ironed shirt, and showed up like an idiot. Inside, it was all catered cheese plates and folks wearing shoes worth more than my truck. Then there she was, Veronica Hayes, HOA president, all blonde highlights and a handshake that felt more like a fishing hook than a greeting. She introduced me around like I was some curious country animal they'd let inside for the evening. And then she cut the polite act faster than cheap ribbon. Mr. Walker, she said, fake warmth dripping off every word. Our residents have raised concerns. Your land's rustic charm is, well, unfortunate next to our amenities. We'd like to relieve you of that burden. We're prepared to make a generous offer. Her number hit the table, 40% under market, barely enough to cover Dad's funeral costs and my plane ticket back west. I laughed right in her face. No sale. That land's been Walker land since my granddad. It stays that way. Veronica didn't flinch. She leaned in so close her perfume about choked me. Mason, living beside us can be pleasant or difficult. Think that over. I didn't have to think. I left that fancy room and drove straight back down the dirt road, my gut already tight. Mom knew before I even told her. She dug up a shoebox Dad kept, crammed with letters from Hawthorne Glade. Fake violation notices, threats of legal action for junk that wasn't true. My old man never budged. Now they thought I would. I tried to settle into ranch chores, fixing the sagging gate, oiling Dad's old tractor. It felt good, honest work, tired hands, sleep that came easy for once. Then one morning while walking the fence line, I found it, a raw ditch snaking from our creek, dirt so fresh it still smelled wet. Dug across my land, heading right for that perfect Hawthorne lake. I followed it, heart pounding, then scraped with a shovel till copper pipe glinted back at me like a snake in the sun. I didn't call Veronica. I called Rosa Perez, my old college buddy turned bulldog real estate attorney. She came out in jeans and boots and cursed so hard the birds flew off. This is blatant theft, Mason. No easement, no permit, just dig and steal. Typical HOA garbage. They gamble you won't fight. Next day I banged on Veronica's office door. She opened it, flicked her hair like a movie villain. Changed your mind about the sale? She purred. I slapped down a photo of her stolen pipeline. Get your pipe out of my land, or I sue. Simple enough. Her smile vanished like smoke. You don't want this fight, Mason. Our community needs that water. We have records, agreements that predate you. She waved a paper under my nose, Dad's signature, neat and dead on a dotted line. I swear my vision went red. That's forged. He'd rather choke than sell you our water. Prove it, she said, voice like ice. I stormed out, but I knew a scream and a lawsuit wouldn't be enough. Rosa said, you want leverage? By the spring. See, that creek on my land comes from a spring up the ridge, technically owned by the county. Nobody thought twice about it. Except me. Through a shell company Rosa set up, I quietly bought the spring's water rights at a tax auction. $40,000 later, the source was legally mine. Suddenly, Hawthorne Glade's shiny lake and fountains and those lush front yards all depended on me opening a tap. I gave them one last chance. remove the illegal pipe, pay back fees, sign a real contract. Veronica's lawyer replied with threats and nonsense about community welfare. So I did what any stubborn walker would do. I turned the valve. Day 1, the HOA fountains dried up. Day 2, sprinklers turned brown patches across those perfect lawns. By day 3, the local news was parked at my mailbox asking why a whole subdivision had dry showers in a Texas heatwave. Veronica painted me as the devil himself, greedy ranch boy hoarding nature. But Rosa and my sister Lena, a journalist who takes no prisoners, released drone footage of the pipe, the forged document, and receipts showing Veronica pocketed extra water fees from residents for years. People who'd once sneered at my barbed wire now stood at my gate begging to hear my side. I told them the truth. I didn't steal your water. Your HOA did. I just stopped the theft. But Veronica wouldn't fold. She pushed a county inspector, Thomas Green, her old golf buddy, to claim my creek was contaminated. Ordered it shut off. Bad move. Rosa hired real scientists, proved the chemicals were dumped right where the HOA pipe crossed my line. Green got arrested for falsifying reports. Veronica was next, tried to flee with a suitcase full of cash. The sheriff caught her before she hit the highway. In the end, Hawthorne Glade homeowners ousted her and her crooked crew. They elected a new board, one that showed up at my porch with sweet tea and an apology, ready to sign a real contract. We agreed. I control the spring, they pay fair rates. I keep a chunk set aside for conservation in Dad's name. It was never about draining them dry. It was about respect. Now, on nights when the sky goes that purple gold Dad used to love, I sit by the creek with Mom, Rosa, and sometimes Lena too if she's home from chasing scandals. We listen to that steady trickle and laugh at the thought that a stolen pipeline could turn a city boy back into a rancher. So, yeah, I might be the most hated man Hawthorne Glade ever met, or the most respected. Depends who you ask. But here's my question for you. Was I wrong to make him feel thirst, just once, to teach him whose water they'd been drinking all along? Tell me below, was I right or dead wrong? Drop your comments, share this with anyone who's ever had a run-in with an HOA. And hey, check your backyard. You never know what's buried just under the dirt.